Business Focus with Kudzie, Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
And 21 minutes up before 8 is our time. Good morning and welcome to Business Focus right here on Capitalk 100.4 FM. We discuss a lot of what's happening in the world of business, as always, with Kudzie Sharara. Good morning to you, Kudzie. How are you?
Good morning, Tinashe. Good morning, Patisan, and good morning, everyone.
Great. How was the weekend?
Well, apart from getting the the shock at the till, prices are going up, guys, in both currencies, and I saw confusion in one of the bigger retail chains in Zimbabwe. In the past, or in the last couple of months, maybe 2-3 months, they have been pricing their products in US dollars. So when I say pricing, I mean the prices that they display on the shelves. Was in US dollars, and very competitive, fair prices that they were displaying. And actually, there was a very small difference with what you find at the tax shops. So a product that you could get at $3 at the tax shops, you could get it at $3.50 in this particular retail chain. But yesterday, it was all over the place. So you get one product is in US, another product is in ZIG, another product in US, and also further observation, you could actually see that prices had gone up in both currencies, in US dollars, more so in US dollars. So, for example, there's a product that I normally check that for the purpose of Business Focus, which is produced by one of the dairy products producers in Zimbabwe. It's a powdered milk, and it was around $4.50. Maybe just a week ago, it was at $4.50. But now in this particular supermarket, it's now at $7.15. So you can see the significant increase in the price.
What could be attributing all that?
So when you then remember, there was last week when I wasn't here, I sent you a clip where the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, George Goamatanga, was saying of the 20 businesses that had applied for foreign currency at the Reserve Bank, or from their bank, as a willing buyer, willing seller, which I think we are lying to ourselves to say there is a willing buyer, willing seller, when then these invoices are taken to the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, and then the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe is supposed to disperse or to sell foreign currency to the banks. I think it's not the kind of willing buyer, willing seller that you would say it's actually a free market sort of. But back to you. So according to Mr. Goamatanga, 19 out of the 20 businesses that went to look for foreign currency from their banks do not deserve or should not be going to the Reserve Bank.
So
or
19 out of 20.
Out of 20.
Only one
qualified to get foreign currency. Otherwise, the rest, he said, they already have foreign currency in their banks and they should not be bothering in their accounts. So should not be bothering banks to applying for foreign currency. So in other words, there is a cold war, if I may call it, between the thinking at the Reserve Bank and the Treasury, and the thinking from the business community. Why do I call it that? Because now, following that statement, the business community looked at it as if they were on their own to say, if you want foreign currency, you get it from your own operations. Only if you can't get it from your own operations, that's when you can then look for it from your bank. But there have been challenges that we spoke about here to say you go and say, I want 1 million. You are told I can only, the bank will tell you that I can only give you, let's say 100,000, which is 10% of your requirements. So in other words, you have to generate it on your own.
So Kudzie, you are saying that PEMSEC pavaiti pa 19 ava vari kuda kuzo apply mari from the central bank and yet
itwendi vanga vato apply kumabanks kwavo, but mabanks haana mari.
But account avo as a company vanotori nayo US
vanayo US dollars vanayo. But then the thing is, so you might have US dollars in your account, But then if your landlord is demanding US dollars, tomorrow I want to pay my landlord.
Yeah.
So you've got the money in your account, but this is for the landlord. Why are you skipping this money for your landlord and not using that money to import? Because if you import and tomorrow you want foreign currency for your landlord, you cannot go to your bank and say, "Oh, foreign currency, but there are landlord."
Yeah, you can't
because
find
it's
it.
not allowed. No, it's not allowed. You are only allowed to apply for money that
Foreign
you want to use
transactions.
for foreign transactions, for foreign imports. So if you use whatever you have in your account to import, then it means all your local obligations that need foreign currency, you cannot go to the Reserve Bank or to
So
your
you
bank.
want to go my US Aruma account, right? We are reserving them for rentals.
Including my local suppliers who would demand my US dollars, especially in the livestock industry, the poultry industry. They demand my US dollars. And then you look at your landlords, they are demanding my US dollars. Then you look at Zimbabwe is a highly informalized economy, and in the informal sector, they are also demanding my US dollars. So if you have got any services that you are going to require locally that are demanding US dollars, then you need to reserve some US dollars for that. But then if you go to your bank and say, "I want this," they will tell you that no, you've got money in your account, so you don't qualify. So this, I think, has resulted in the businesses, the price hikes that I'm talking about. I spoke about a product that moved from 450 to 715, and some would say, no, they are only increasing the US dollar prices, but it's not. It's both in both currencies. So last week, for example, if a product was at $4.50, right, at official exchange rate, so you're paying roughly about 67. If you were to swipe, you're paying about 67. But in this particular outlet that I'm talking about, this product that was at 450, which you could swipe at 67, was now at $78, 78 ZIG, which means there's been an increase again of almost 10% increase. So this is huge.
But what's causing all this, Kudzie?
Another foreign currency. And also, maybe if we revisit the trading update that we got from one another. Yes,
it's fine. How could you say it's the economy has been stable for the past? I don't know, and now this increment, basic commodities, from the gap is too much.
Yeah,
it's for something now $7 something.
Yes. So this one who has increased this product from $4.50 to $7.15. What they are basically telling you is that if I sell you at $4.50 at the official exchange rate, you are going to give me about 67. So I'm going to sell you at I'm going to price my product at $7.15, so that when you pay using the official exchange rate, right, it will go to the they will get, for example, they will get what they will get in US dollars will in ZIG, because you are going to pay in ZIG. So the 107 that you are now going to pay in ZIG, right? It comes back when you go to if you are going to then get your US dollars from the parallel market, it comes back to 450. You see, what has been happening is that some big retail outlets were now being used as wholesalers. And this wholesaler, I'm just a retailer. But because it's cheaper, people were now buying in bulk. Yes, they were now buying in bulk so that they can go and sell kuma tuck shops.
Still talking about that, there's somebody who did send in a receipt of a big retail outlet saying, please check on the 100% juice there. On the receipt, it is $3, should be $3.10 or so. It's around $3 something. But once kuma tuck shop, it's $2.
Yes. So what we are seeing again, those supermarkets that were now using competitive US dollar prices, right? They realize that when people then come and swipe from them, they are losing value, right? They are losing value because people are swiping at the official exchange rate. So yes, so what will happen is you can sell, yes, you can make good sales, but then to replace that product, you are going back to your manufacturer. So you receive a mazig and it. You go back to your manufacturer. The manufacturer is demanding US dollars. You are not generating US dollars.
Saka utitore maziga ako uende kuna vaguma vatanga kuti vaguma vatanga ndipewo US ndikwanise kureplace chinhu changu.
Vanobva kuti handikuda kureplace from imports kana kuti local. Over the local supplier vanza local supplier. Hakuna ku Reserve Bank hakuna mari ma local suppliers. So
but Kudzie still talking about my issues.
I'm trying to think really. No replace a say.
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult. That's why they some of their prices vari kutomboti in a way macustomer arunza imbo reduce speed and kuya kuzotenga kwatiri. At least I can remain in business.
Okay, let's Kudzie try to revisit the Zimbabwe trading update that came out. Maybe we might get a hint of what exactly is going on in the retail industry.
Yes, so this was a trading update for the three months to June. So it's from the period ZIG was introduced up to June. And I think we have spoken about it before to say the prices that we are now finding in OK, for example, were now very competitive. But when we started to see the movement, the parallel market gap, the gap between the official and the parallel market, when it started to widen to above 60%, most people were now swiping in OK. And this is what OK says here in terms of my revenue generation. They said USD collections, however, dropped significantly, right, in that quarter, as most consumers were now using ZIG. So they were now receiving more ZIG. My US dollar sales are over Zikira, which means this particular business is not generating as much US dollars as they would want. So that's number one. And then when you look at their volumes went up significantly. Of course, it came during a period when they were doing an OK Grain Challenge, which also included for the first time OK Mart. But they're also saying one of the reasons why they received that volume recovery is because as customers responded to favorably to the group's commitment to fair pricing practices. So they were fairly priced, just competing even with the tax shops. But because they were receiving Mazig now, and the parallel market started moving, there is now a gap where they might find it very difficult to replace the same product that they would have sold at a fair price. But if you are going to receive ZIG at a fair price, it means you will not be able to replace that particular product. Why? Because manufacturer wako ari kudemand US dollar. And why is the manufacturer demanding US dollar? Ari kuti inini ma requirements angu ema US dollar ndikaenda ku bank ndirikunzi I don't qualify, but inini as a business I require more US. So there is a need for the Ministry of Finance, Treasury, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, and the business community kuti vambovharirwa mu1 room munyatsoratidzana. Handi Mr. Gowamatanga vakati ngavauye ivo vemabusinesses ava tinyatsoratidzana maaccounts kuti this is what I'm generating, this is what I want, tione. And he believes that the business community is not telling the truth, right? And the business community reacted and by putting up prices. Yes, and putting up prices, which is a reaction to what was said, which is a reaction to their failure to access the US dollar that they want. Whether they need the US dollar or not, that is a case that needs to be proven. But these institutions, the private sector, Treasury, the Reserve Bank, they need to sit down. Tombovharira mu1 room. Vobuda vaine ma-answers on the way forward. And I'm willing to pay makiya.
You call me when you've got a concrete answer. So there's someone who did send in a picture of from a certain big retail saying that a 2 liter of locally produced cooking oil, ZIG or USD cash, is $3.10. ZIG or USD swipe, it's $4.30.
So I want to differentiate. Can I cash? Swipe.
And there's a sticker I told you just below the cooking oil bottle.
What about my one FIU? Because FIU you don't go where. Even this particular outlet that I'm talking about, they had prices, for example, of one of the products. Then 103. If you want to pay in ZIG, you're paying $7 something if you want to pay in USD. So again, if I go out to rate auctions and very covered because I say rate over I'm going up at 15. But there is no one and a common sense who go and buy using my US dollar in this particular outlet as well.
Yeah.
Because it's $7.50. $4 something. I should be
Yeah.
So very desperate. If you are desperate, if you earn zig like some of us, and you'll be desperate, you are forced to buy. It's still cheaper to swipe there, because if you compare, for example, one product was at 78 zig, right, and $4.50. So if you can, if you swipe in the past, you could buy it at 67 zig. Now it's at 78 zig, but it's still cheaper, because for you to get $4.50, uchinoitsvaga wherever kwaonoitsvaga ukawana nokuti ndokupa ubva kuti ne23, it means $4.50 you need yakati one day, and so it's still cheaper.
I think they need to sit down and reach a compromise.
A compromise.
Yeah. Let's look at the latest ZESA update. What's happening?
Yeah, I think there's a challenge with power supply, and I think ZESA finally came out to say what was happening, and I think the challenge is some technical challenge that occurred at thermal power Unit 8.
In Wange.
You know, if at Wange, yes. I think the one of the new ones we have 7 and 8. So 8 faced some challenges, and so they've been serious load shedding. Some people are talking about 20 hours, some people are talking about 24 hours. I'm not sure in your area what sort of power load shedding you're experiencing. But
we normally go into darkness around past 5 in the morning. To around 9:30, 10 p.m. thereabouts.
That is massive load shedding. If somebody is operating, for example, nearby businesses in your area, nearby businesses, imagine they're having to run up a generator
for those hours.
For those hours, it's massive. Just I think it was last week when Pick n Pay. In their financials, they released the amount of diesel that they were using. If I'm not mistaken, it was 2 million liters of diesel that they had used in that particular period, and it was a lot. So yeah, I've got the numbers here. So they're saying in 2023 they used 2.045 million liters of diesel.
The whole year.
Compared to 2022, they used 785,000. Now in 2023, they used 2 million.
How far have they gone so far?
I don't have those numbers, but I'm sure it will be worse this year in terms of diesel. So imagine.
So according to the statement that was released by ZESA, are they saying the technical challenges that they faced at Unit 8 are all solved now?
So this statement that they released was released on the 24th of this month. Today is the 26th.
Just 2 days ago.
I'm not sure whether they have resolved that. Maybe Dr. Manyaya can give us an update in terms of the power situation at the moment.
Okay.
But you know what it does when you're now using diesel as opposed. So imagine if you for example, it's in a location, a suburb, where you also have these supermarkets operating in that area, and you have got these power cuts, and they're now resorting to the use of diesel. So imagine how much diesel they are using. Imagine what that does to the cost of energy for that particular business, which needs again to be recovered through your pricing of your products, because your cost of doing business have gone up, so you need to recover it somewhere, somehow, or maybe you absorb it, but your margins now go down because
could it also be the other reason as well why we get into shops and told on swipe it down? Maybe my booster signal, they don't have power, or what's happening?
I think for that one, I think I don't think that is the reason, because
networks.
Yeah, you could say that, but I don't know. I don't think. I think some are taking advantage of such issues to then say, no swipe is quit because of ABC. But I don't think that. So I don't think so. And you can find unopinam supermarket A. Without my swipe machines are down, but in
The other one are
supermarket
not
B,
working.
same area, same just next
building.
door, just next door. They are working, and they are both. This one gets out of the tarimo both, but it's a generator, so I don't think that could be the reason. And in this one, I'm not sure what is the reason. This particular supermarket that I visited yesterday, they used to have a whole like 4 or 5 refrigerators for fresh meat, like your sausages, your chicken and stuff.
Frozen foods.
Yes. Yesterday they had 1 fridge. They had removed all this. I'm not sure whether it was because they
are no longer ordering
those
quantities
products in
because,
quantities, or maybe they are saying let's reduce the number of fridges that we have so that we don't
use a lot of power.
I don't know what was the reason. Or the other one could be supplier of these particular products are quite restricted in terms of what they can purchase. Because these retail outlets are saying it's just akungwana mazig mostly, and our suppliers are demanding US dollars. So supplier anenge achikuti anotipe titoda ma US, so akungonzi kana uchitoda ne mazigi takukulimita the quantity that you want to buy.
Yeah, I think once again the call has to go out. You said the central bank, right?
Yes.
The business community.
Yes, and treasury.
They need to sit down.
Yeah, and dialogue. Because the consumer, and as consumers, I think we are now feeling the pitch today.
Okay.
My inflation figures are but I reflected this week. I will reflect All
right, Kudzie, thank you so much for Business Focus. We'll discuss more tomorrow right here on Capital. Have yourself a great Monday.
Thank you, Tinash.
Business Focus with Kudzie, Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.